Author Email has a feature-rich template engine as well as a template gallery that we plan to add pre-made and author-created templates to in the future. To find them, go over to the left side menu and you'll find the T represents the email templates. Click on the gallery first, and you'll see the templates that are already in our system. And you'll see the templates that are already installed in our system. You can import any of these, and they will be available for your own use, which means you can customize them however you want, and it's not going to affect the system. We're going to grab the vanilla template here, which is basically a plain text template with a little bit of HTML styling. If you click on preview, you can see what it looks like. It'll pull up another box. You can see it's very simple. It's got the unsubscribe link, but it's still missing the company URL. The company address that's required. Anyway, you can edit the template by clicking on Update over here on the right, and you'll see a very simple WYSIWYG, which stands for What You See Is What You Get editor. You're probably familiar with this. This editor is sort of the default HTML editor on websites, things like WordPress. It's a very simplified interface, and you can do things like select and make the text bold or italicize, change the font size, things like that. So this is HTML technically, meaning when you send this email, this is not a plain text email that's being sent out, but a plain text version will be created based on the content of the email. You can see that HTML source here, and it will show up just in a nice format that you can, if you know HTML, can read easily. And this is where you might want to copy and paste in any copied HTML code from any other templates that you might have. Click on source again to get back to where we were before. You can give it a name, of course. This is, of course, just in the system. This is for your eyes only. And then if you have categories that you that you want to organize your templates in, you can choose one here. I'm going to save the changes and go back to the same page. If you wanted to preview it, you can click here. This is what we saw before. And you can also send a test email using this template. One thing you do have to make sure of is the from email you're sending needs to be verified in our system. That usually happens when you create an account, but if you have multiple lists or multiple pin names and you send from different email addresses, just send us an email and make sure that we have all of those email addresses verified with our delivery servers. Otherwise, you're going to get an error when you try to send this. Okay, so once we've got a template, we can use those in our campaigns, but there's another way to build templates that we think is even better. If you wanted to create one from scratch or import HTML code, just like I showed you before with using the source, you could click on Create New. That's going to bring you to the exact same place where this one was edited from, only with a blank slate. However, I mentioned that that editor is an HTML editor. It's mainly for web pages and web design. It's not an email editor, and what that means is every email inbox can see HTML for the most part, but they don't always see it the same way. So what we've done is built a new drag and drop editor, and you can see up here there's another Create New button using the drag and drop editor. The first thing you'll notice is that the email that you're designing is limited in space, and you can't change that. And that's because 99% of the time an email inbox will be able to read an email that's not taking up the entire width of the screen. So we limit you in order to make sure that your emails get read and parsed the same way as much as possible. We like the drag and drop editor for that reason. We haven't had any issues with subscribers not being able to see the email in their inbox. From the right side menu here, you can see all of the different things you can drag into your editor. And it's as easy as that. You just drag it in, and the gray line shows you where it'll end up. And then you can change the image by clicking on the upload button, or the link by clicking on the link button. You'll notice you also can't add another image below in this particular box. Again, it's a limitation in order to prevent email inboxes from accidentally breaking your email. So it's a good limitation. If you wanted to add another picture, for example, you just need to grab another picture from the right side menu and find out where to add it into your email, and there you go. You can change that as much as you want. There's also dividers if you wanted to separate content out in your email, and buttons if you wanted to have a simple button call to action. All of this is editable. All this is something you can change. You can also make a copy of a certain box by clicking the plus sign. You can delete one. It asks you, are you sure? And you can move them around. Now, there is a way to look at the code of a particular box, but again, it's just a very simple HTML using tables, which are considered more rigid, maybe a little bit outdated, but it's going to keep things the right width and looking the same way across the board. Be sure to save the changes when you're done, and you can use that template after it's saved. Oh, you do have to give it a name in order for it to save in our system. And again, if you wanted to give it a category, you could put one here. Now when you save the changes, you can use this template in your campaign creation process.